The idea of needing to squeeze your legs to hold back pee or use. All right, so I feel like the idea of needing to squeeze your legs to hold back pee or using that as a successful technique is something that everybody can relate to. We've probably all done it. But the reason that this works is because those two muscle groups, the inner thigh and the pelvic floor, like to contract together. And because they like to contract together, when you hold a lot of tension, when you're asking those inner thigh muscles to do a lot of the stabilizing of your hip, it also kind of spreads over into the pelvic floor, and you tend to hold more tension in the pelvic floor muscles also. And so what we really want is a balance between those muscles in the inner thigh and the muscles on the outside and the back of the hip, so that the workload is more evenly distributed. Nobody has to work all the time, and you don't end up holding tension either in those inner thigh muscles or in the pelvic floor.
Do not shave. Don't shave right down to your skin. Surgery. Do not shave. Don't shave right down to your skin. Clipping is a better idea. That way the hair is always slightly out of the follicle, not allowing it to have to regrow from underneath that skin. That'll prevent the ingrown hair. If you already have an ingrown hair, just a nice warm water compress, do it frequently, it'll work its way out, okay? Gentle, I don't know how old your scar is, if it can handle very gentle exfoliation, and with a loofah sponge or even a face cloth, that'll be helpful in coaxing that ingrown hair out. But if there is a bit of an infection, you're going to probably have to use some polysporin or something like that. Here is the best book ever. It's called Big Things. Do not. Here is the best book ever. It's called Big Things. And just likes to, brother and sister. Mom's not going to be able to play with you for a little while because Mommy's got an owie in her tummy. But here are the things that you can do to help her, help around the house, help the new baby. It is such a gorgeous book. Oh my God! Here is the author. Her name is. I have no affiliation. He knows that she'll know to expect you. Okay. Surgery for a diastasis would occur if there is a considerable amount of pain or dysfunction preventing a woman from her daily activities. At that point in Ontario anyways, would it be deemed to be surgical, but depending on where you live, you could probably opt and pay for surgery. But surgery is always your last bet. So what you want to do is a course of conservative diastasis rehabilitation. Make sure you work with a very skilled therapist who has a lot of experience in this realm. And the diastasis master is, in my opinion, Dr. Sinead Dufour. She was my instructor. She kind of does all the research in it too. So I'll tag her here. She's a pelvic floor therapist and has many clinics across Ontario. So great person to connect with. Yes, height of the bed does matter. If it's too low, you're going to have a tough time getting into it because it's challenging to control your body weight as you descend that low. Coming out of the bed might be okay. And if it's too high, you're going to need a stool. The thing about whether it's a high or low bed is the sitting up part. So if you sleep on a ramp, an angle, that's going to be helpful. Think of a lazy boy chair, for example, or your hospital bed that's adjustable and kind of sits you back up. The other thing, I know a lot of mamas, they just end up picking the couch to sleep for the first, couple nights or a week or so, because it's a good height. But it also depends on how tall you are. Send me a DM if you want specific tips, okay? Cold after surgery, after any acute injury, cold or ice helps to control inflammation. If you put hot on something that's bleeding internally, which is what inflammation is, it'll make it worse, right? It'll cause vasodilation, it'll open up your blood vessels, and then cause more bleeding into the area. So ice, cold, please. And if, here's a bunch of tips. I'm just going to link this free resource down below of the 10, I call it the 10 things your doctor wants you to know about your cesarean birth, right? So it's a compilation of the 10 biggest tips that I as a therapist have come across working with thousands of cesarean birth moms and what they have found to be the most helpful. So please download that and please use it, okay? Don't overthink it. Compression is super, super helpful for inflammation, meaning control. Don't overthink it. Compression is super, super helpful for inflammation, meaning controlling the swelling, controlling the pain, protecting the area in the first 2 weeks postpartum. You will probably wear some type of compression for the first 6 weeks, but you'll be moving, right? The thing sticking down is when movement doesn't occur. So if you wore compression and just stayed still, then then things would start to get adhered, right? So, don't overthink it. Compression is super, super helpful, again, especially in the early days. If the concern about the appearance of the scar means it's red and or raised, then yes, the visibility of the scar can be improved with scar tape. And I personally like something called My Scar Tape by Spidertech Tape. And what this does is it decreases the micro load on that tissue as you move about your regular daily activities. It's when there's too much pulling on the scar that it lays down extra thick. And when I say too much pulling, it's not like you're doing something to hurt yourself. Literally, the scar is just forming that way because it's not ready for daily movement. Okay, so I'm going to link the My Scar Tape down here below. Please feel free to use my discount code. It's a product that I have used myself on my own body and with many clients with pretty great results. You can wear Spidertech Scar Tape on your cesarean birth scar, or any scar for that matter, for days. It sticks as long as you don't start peeling off the corners. It'll stay through showers, through workouts, etc. I recommend at the most 6 days, and then taking it off for that day to let the skin, etc. breathe, and then you can place another one on. The longer the duration, it'll help the micro loads to decrease on the scar itself, giving the scar a chance to kind of recover or heal. So it'll decrease the redness, it might decrease the raisedness, depending on the micro loads and how long you can wear it for. You will probably see results every single time you take off that tape. So maybe you can not just use one tape per week, but you can use, let's say, 4, 5, 6 tapes for 6 weeks straight. While it is common to have muscle pain after a cesarean birth, please don't let it be your new normal. There are a lot of different reasons to have muscle pain, but the biggest reason is that, the muscles are being overloaded, and you may not feel during your exercises or movements or workouts that you're doing too much, but the result after the fact, if you're experiencing pain, localized pain in the scar, specific sections of the surgical area, and it's not, a nice kind of muscle workout pain, then please back off your exercises. Regress them or even give them a break. Maybe you might need another type of exercise to build some base first. But the biggest thing is double check that your foundational core retraining techniques are sound. So that's the ABCs. That's the program that I get everyone started on. It stands for alignment, breathing, and core control. Check it out. Oh, it's so super common to feel like, wow, I'm so weak after pregnancy. I'm so not strong after major abdominal surgery. So to this mama here, it's super common. 6 weeks, I know probably to you doesn't feel like a short time, but it's actually, you're just getting started on recovery. That being said, in the first 6 weeks, you could actually start core retraining. As a matter of fact, all the moms that I work with, they can start core retraining with very gentle belly breathing exercises on day 1 postpartum. And when you can start connecting your brain to the parts of your body that have had surgery, the recovery is that much faster. So ABCs is where you want to start. I'm going to link that program below. So pain with coughing at 3 months post-cesarean is not normal. Just understand that when you're coughing hard, that's like a 1 rep max repetition on your abdominal musculature. So you only had surgery on it, 12 weeks ago, and if you're not training it to that level, then it's going to hurt. You're straining your muscles. So a way to work around that, if you're sick and you're coughing, you're going to need to cough until you're not sick anymore. Take a pillow and hug it hard to your abs when you're coughing. It's a neat trick, but literally it's like bracing it feels so much better and protects your ab muscles, okay? Now, the thing about doing dead bugs and having pain, that's a little different. That means the ab muscles aren't ready to do dead bugs. That's why it hurts. Like, it's not a nice workout kind of muscles being used kind of pain. It's like injury pain. It means it's too much. So regress the exercise, check on your ABCs. The quick answer to that is it depends. It depends because it depends on what type of scar massage you're doing. It depends where you are in your healing journey. I mean, is scar massage supposed to hurt at 6 weeks postpartum? No, you don't want to do anything that causes pain, right? But if you're at like 4, 5, 6 months postpartum and you've been massaging for a couple of months, the techniques get more and more advanced and aggressive, and the point is you're supposed to feel fascial burning to a 4 out of 10, 5 out of 10 on that pain scale. So it depends, which is why it's so important to work with a therapist, or at the very least follow a curated postpartum rehab program. If you're looking for something like that and you want to do it yourself, check out my foundations program here. I was just talking about this very question in my Instagram live today, but I'll answer it again here, of course, but make sure you watch that live. It's posted in my grid. Very short answer. There's only 2 things you really need to think about. You do your scar massage until A, the pain of the massage feels exactly the same on the scar as it is compared to a non-surgical area on your own body, and B, when the mobility is also the same, okay? So again, pain and mobility of the surgical versus non-surgical area of your own abdominals is the same. That's when you know, you don't have to do scar massage anymore, okay? And there's a lot of different techniques. Various techniques are going to be used for various types of adhesions or like lumps or types of scar tissue. So again, please work with a perinatal therapist. So at 7 months postpartum, I would want to see it myself. I would want a one-on-one assessment, whether virtually or in person. In person is always the best, for the reason that you want to make sure that it can still benefit from scar massage when you do it yourself. And then also, there are a lot of reasons for an overhang. So I'm going to link a free resource down here below. There are over 9 reasons that you can have a C-section shelf. It's not just tight scar tissue. So it's very important to find out what the cause of your C-section shelf or overhang happens to be before you then implement a strategy. Okay, hope that makes sense. Take a look at this free resource down below.